Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gonçalo Cordeiro. I'm here to present the VCW framework developed by Professor Luís Filipe Lages, applied to SurfPortugal in new markets for the company. What does that mean? Let's first take a look at the background and why is the company trying to search for new markets. The company is basically struggling financially, meaning that they've had negative profits since 2013. Why is that? Above all, the market is small, the Portuguese economical crisis didn't help, the fashion industry related to surfing, the billabongs, the quicksilvers, started having less revenue over the years because their prices were too high, they had very high margins, and they started having smaller budgets for advertising, which in turn affected the financial health of the company. Finally, and maybe for most, the transformation of the media industry from paper to online also had a huge impact on SurfPortugal, which only lately started developing their website. Therefore, we entered the TAP phase of the VCW, which is the first, considering that the other one was phase 0. And in this phase, we try to arrive to a problem definition, meaning how can we make a research question in order to develop the solutions and the prototypes for the company to use in the future. That research question, the main one was to increase the revenues profitably within the next 5 years. The specific question in hand is how to do so using business units that haven't been explored so far by the company. Having finished that phase, we entered the phase 2, which is the phase called Induce of the Tiago framework, in which we have to brainstorm solutions and filters. And to do so, we interviewed a set of surfing personalities within the Portuguese surfing culture, and not only within the Portuguese culture, from not only the CEO, but also the president of the Associação Nacional de Surfistas, the marketing director for the Despomar Group, the big wave rider and well-known worldwide Sebastian Steutner, and João Macedo from Portugal Surf Academia, which is also a big wave rider, by the way. So as you can see, by talking with these people and our fellow colleagues and some other surfers we met on the go, we managed to get a good idea of what was happening within this industry and how to tackle it. So when we arrived to the part of brainstorming the solutions, we had more on how can we help the company overcome its issues. And we arrived at 29 solutions, ranging from environmental causes to retailing operations, but mostly and above all related to experience. Of course, surfing survives as an industry based on the experience that people have in the sea. And so we thought about corporate events, surf school franchises, wave gardens, etc., etc. And this cannot be we cannot think of these solutions without the filters. The filters are the constraints to these solutions. You'll see in a second how this applies in phase 4. But as you can see, the filters range from brand fit and brand awareness to cost and potential profits and to scalability. So they are very eclectic in a sense, and they try to tackle different issues among those solutions. On phase 3, which is the one we are now, it is very important to get the board with us, meaning that in the other 2 phases, we could do them without relating to the board directly. Here, we have to have the board on board, so to speak, to develop this phase. And how can the board be on board? So our board was very simple. It was only one person, the CEO. He had to rank the filters from 1 to 5, being 1 the lowest grade he could give and 5 the highest. We decided to use the grades that the filters that graded 4 or 5 to be our filters. And as you can see, those are the filters he graded. I'm not going to enter into much detail here, but some other filters, for instance, brand awareness and brand fit, he ranked below 4 and 5 because this is a new endeavor, a new enterprise, a new project, so it doesn't make sense, for instance, to have a Surf B&B application online and selling trips to Bali under the name SurfPortugal. Not only did we do that, we also refined the solutions. What do I mean by refining the solutions? We had 29 solutions prior to this phase, and we had to invite the board to sit around the table with us and decide on which of these solutions should make it to phase 4. 29 solutions, it's probably too high a number to be feasible to work in detail with every filter. So we used what is called the poker method. The poker method can be used to, for instance, fold an idea or solution, an idea or filter. In our case, we just apply the poker method to solutions. So you can fold it, meaning that you eliminate that solution. You can check it, which in turn means you review it and see what's inside that solution. You can call it, meaning that you keep it as it is. And you can raise, as in the poker, you raise the bet. For instance, if you had an idea, let me just think. If you have an idea to do a project in Portugal, raising that idea would be to go to Portugal and Spain, or go to the whole range of Europe with that solution. So by doing so, by checking, folding, keeping, and multiplying, we synthesized the number of ideas, and we arrived at a number of 16 ideas, conversely to the 29 that we had previously. These are the 16 ideas that passed the poker method, and of course all of them were approved by the CEO. They discussed them with us. Not to get into detail here, but to give you a clear shot of what we did in this part, in this phase 3, I have a short clip here that I'd like to share with you. So let's just take 30 seconds or 40 for you to watch it.
There's a conclusion to my illusion, I assure you this. There's no end to this confusion if you let it wish you well. Sold to sell, highest bidders, can't you tell what you get?
Hopefully that must have been clarifying of what we did. On phase 4, we have the ground phase of the Tiago framework. The ground phase can be divided in two, 4A and 4B. You'll see in a second how it is done. The 4A is the creation of the value creation funnel. So we grab the 16 solutions that we had after the poker method, and we run them through the filters that the CEO ranked. And by doing so, we arrived at our final solution, which was to create a Surf B&B platform. A better way to see this would be the following. So, as you can see, I told you that the filters were the constraints for each solution. Here, as you can see, scalability, for instance, blocks the event solution. What does this mean? It means that, for instance, in our perspective, when doing the VC funnel, us, our team, and the CEO thought that events couldn't be scalable because no two events are equal. They have different needs and different constraints. So it must be very hard to scale the event and have the same processes throughout all the events you do in a year. So we disregarded that solution. And as you can see, for every solution that doesn't pass only one filter, it can no longer enter the VC funnel. That's why it is a funnel. Until we arrived at the final solution, which, as I just told you, is the Surf B&B. What is the Surf B&B? And now we arrive at the 4B phase of the ground part of the Tiago framework. The Surf B&B is a platform for you to book your related surfing-related experiences, such as surf hostels, surf schools, surf classes. The main the main categories are obviously the accommodation, the surfing part, and the combination of the two, meaning stay and surf, as we've defined it. It is a commission-based model, meaning that we would take a stake of 6% to 12% of the experience provider or the accommodation provider. And the test lab for this app and website would be the Portuguese market for, let's say, the first year. And then the project has the possibility to reach global scale. And that's the final goal of the app. The distribution will be obviously online and on app stores like the App Store itself and the Play Store from Android. Finally, we arrive at the operate phase, which is the fifth one. Here, the CEO and the board must say if they want to go ahead with the project, if they reject it, or if they say, we want to check before going ahead. We fortunately developed this in a way that the CEO had to say yes. So we went ahead with the project and we devised a small, let's say, a small next steps, a small action plan of what the CEO needed to do to go ahead with this project. Those steps can be resumed by financial, product development, marketing, and team. So in terms of finance, he can apply for government funds like the Portugal 2020, and he must obviously proactively pursue business angels and venture capitalists to have enough money to put the project ahead. In terms of product development, he needs to devise a minimum viable product in order to test it. No product survives the initial idea of its founder. He needs to put the product in the market and to have people feeding him back feedback. The marketing, in terms of marketing, he should profile the target customer, meaning that it must be a data-driven enterprise. You would say that, for instance, he must know what people from what age are going to what place in Portugal to have surf classes. People from what gender like more going surfing in the north or the south. So this obviously has huge steps in terms of promoting and in terms of advertising of the app. And finally, the team. We advised him to either develop in-house or outsource. Obviously, there aren't many options, but probably in-house he would have better control of the company and of the app. And finally, he should enable the customer acquisition and drive revenues, so he can have a better customer scale and better. I'm missing the word. So he can have a higher number of clients in order for the project to be successful. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed it.